Lady Slipper Scenic Byway, which is Cass County Highway 10 and Beltrami County Highway 39. Saturday, June 28th was a beautiful day to hold a ribbon cutting ceremony for the Lady Slipper Scenic Byway.
Have our holding pens, and they're all
good deal. Hi Shirley, how are you? Good to see you.
So this is our grand opening for these sites. They've just been completed, or mostly completed, so that's the event, and we want to celebrate the blooming of the Lady Slippers. It's peak time right now, and celebrate our culture and history along the byway.
So how was these interpretive sites made possible? Was it grant money, or how was it?
This parking lot, both amenity sites were a part of a transportation alternatives program where the county and the Forest Service and the Byway group applied for a grant and competed with other local projects, and that was quite a few years ago. We can't believe that 2014 is already here, because we thought we had a long time to plan. And so that's what the parking lots, how they were constructed, and the county did the construction in conjunction with the road construction. And then the boardwalk on the next site was constructed with a grant from the U.S. Forest Service, from a Resource Advisory Council. And a lot of the projects that we have done on this byway are projects that have been funded by grant. We also got a grant from the Federal Highways Administration, part of Jim Oberstar's legacy, and that grant helped us dig up the Lady Slippers and store them and put them back. So
what's special about this flower?
It's the state flower, and it's our namesake for the byway. We had a naming contest back in 2006. This used to be called the Scenic Highway, Scenic Byway. And the naming contest surfaced the name Lady Slipper Scenic Byway, and we chose that as our name. And because there are just so many Lady Slippers here, and just north of here is the Pennington Bog Scientific and Natural Area, and that has showy Lady Slippers, but it also has other orchids in it. So this is an orchid-rich area.
You've sort of seen this flower. What does this flower mean to you, and how beautiful is it?
Well, it's a unique flower. It's beautiful. It's pink and white and has gorgeous leaves. The thing that's really special about it is that it takes so long for it to grow into a flowering plant from a seed. It might take 15 years from seed to flowering. So that makes it kind of special. And it is common in other areas of Minnesota, but we really do have an abundance of them here. So.
Why should we celebrate that?
The blooming of the Lady Slippers? I think it just signifies the beauty and the natural beauty of this area, and an area of land, an ecosystem that's functioning as it should. If they're growing, then living in a place where all the native plants are flourishing.
And have you been out on the boardwalk? Have you seen them all?
Oh, I went out a couple days ago. It's just gorgeous. So, yeah, they're at their peak right now. So it's going to be a great day for a celebration. And sunny too.
It's coming out in the middle of this. What was I going to say? If you get a sense of pride when you go out on that boardwalk and see all of the flowers in bloom?
I do get a sense of pride, and I think the special thing about this whole project is that we have so many partners and relationships with groups, and without them we wouldn't have been able to do this project. And we've been touched by a lot of lives. We've worked with disadvantaged youth from Camp Rabideau. We've tried to focus on using youth for our projects because we, as a Byway board, feel that stewardship is very important. It's a very important part of our mission. And part of that is passing that ethic of stewardship on to the next generation, so they can be stewards too.
Absolutely.
I want to thank Bruce Hasbargen, who is here, and John Nuring for all their help. The highway department has really been good to us, so, or the engineers, whatever you want to call them. I think they've changed their names over the years. But they've been real helpful to us, and in fact, they're the ones that set us up so we could do this, and they allowed us to design the thing and built it to our specs. Nancy Salmonen's daughter is the one that actually designed these, and it looked really good on paper. And it looks good here too, so. Okay, I'll introduce our board members that are here when we do the ribbon cutting, which will be the last thing we do here. So right now we'll get into a blessing from Mike Smith, and then Sally will give us a history of this little community here. Okay? Ready for the blessing.
It already has a good start, but it's up to us to intercept that. And we can do it, but we all have to work together. We can't separate each other anymore. We got to start working together as human beings, not being judged by the color of our skins or our beliefs. We have to work together like we're doing here today. And things will get better, but we have to work hard at it. I want to thank you all for listening, and have a great day. I was supposed to have a singer here today, but like always, he gets misled. He's probably down the road there waiting for everybody to show up.
Good morning. My name is Sally Finday. My Ojibwe name is Ashikawe Beek, and that means one who sits alone, or sometimes it's been interpreted as one who crosses over. This is my land. This land has been in my family for 6 generations, and I'm happy to see today that we have an expression of interest here for all of the people who drive up and down the road or people who visit our land. I'm very happy for the Lady Slippers Scenic Byway group. I've been a member for a few years now, and I really feel that some of the work that we've been done is really historical in nature, and we as people are collaborating in such good ways. My family has been here since the 1855 treaties, and that's 6 generations. The young man that's going to do our music for us this morning is the 6th generation living on this land of Fine Days. His name is Jared Chase. He goes to Cass Lake Elementary School, and he's going to be in the 9th grade this year. So Jared, if you want to start preparing, we'll have you up here in just a few minutes. Just come on up by me. Some of the things that a lot of people aren't aware of is that we have it's a history that's a hidden history here in Minnesota. And one of the things that's been national, an act that took a lot of, it was such a big initiative. It was during the Nixon administration when the American Indian Religious Freedom Act was finally passed, and the American Indian people of the United States were finally given the freedom to practice their religion. It was a huge endeavor, and for that, you know, I share some of that information on the signage here because it's really important for us, for our family as Indian people, that we should have the right to practice our way of life and bring our culture, which is such a good way of life, to all people. And with that, you know, I'd like to express that we have a lodge here. It's our sacred Medewewin Lodge, and it's the way of the people. It creates good harmony and community and brings good values to all of our people. And that lodge is open to all people, not just Indian people, all people. It's a Giving of Life Lodge. And so that's been resurrected here in the community in the last decade. So I welcome you. This is the Fine Day family community, and I appreciate everything that's been done here. Miigwech, Scenic Byway Board. Jared? Oh, you have to. Oh, he's not ready yet. So he's going to grab his flute. But he's such a fine inspiration for me, you know, being his great aunt. He's my sister's grandson, and he's the 6th generation of the Fine Days that are actually living on the land here. My own family, my children live in the urban area, where, you know, jobs are plentiful. It's difficult. Everybody up here must know we live in a different kind of environment, and we choose to live here. I've often thought that, you know, a lot of people think it's great, it's beautiful, and it is great and beautiful, but one of the things that we don't have is we don't have a flourishing economy, you know, and we don't have jobs, and we don't, you know, power and food, everything to be a flourishing community is more greater, the value is greater here for us in rural Minnesota. So when we have opportunities to embrace tourism, which is so much a part of our economy like this, I'm thoroughly pleased with it. Miigwech, that's thank you in Ojibwe. Thank you, Jared. That was so beautiful. I'm glad it made a happy noise today.
2, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I would like to give a small token of our appreciation to Mike and Jared for helping us with the ceremony.
Nancy gives the blanket. I just want to give a little background. A lot of people may not know this about Indian people, but the blanket for us means the difference between life and death. Oftentimes when our warriors went out in the wintertime, if they didn't have a good blanket, a good pelt, you know, it was kind of iffy whether they were going to return because of the hazards of hunting, you know, in the outdoors and then camping on the outdoors on your own. So the blanket is a good special gift for our culture. Chimigwich Jared and Chimigwich Mike.
Okay, that'll.
be a top spot in Beltrami. See that one? Isn't that pretty?
I don't get really these have been transplants.
I think these were. I don't know that. Hi, David.
Good morning.
So have these been transplanted?
I got a few at the cabin.
But the deer eat them. The deer love them.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Those nice.
Oh my.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
It's still morning.
My name is Nancy Solomon, and I'm a volunteer with the Lady Slipper Scenic Byway. I'm currently the treasurer of the board, and we're really happy to see such a great turnout today. It's, sometimes when you do these things, you don't expect to see faces that you don't know. So it's great to see some folks here that are new to the byway or haven't visited here before. What I would like to do is talk to you about our transplant effort along the byway. A little bit about our history of the byway. We were formed in 2003 and became a nonprofit at that time. Our name at that time was the Scenic Highway, Scenic Byway. And we thought that was kind of redundant, so we had a naming contest back in 2006. And we had several entries from the local community, and there were 2 entries for Lady Slipper Scenic Byway. And so our committee, our board got together and we chose that as the new name for our Scenic Byway. Didn't change the name of the road or mailing addresses or anything like that, but it's just the name for our byway. I was researching a little bit into old documents from our past, and we have what's called a corridor management plan that was developed in 2005. And so I was looking to see if there was any mention of lady slippers, and it turns out they were mentioned very little, which is kind of interesting. So it occurred to me that that whole name change really was the evolution of a changing attitude for our group, and really gave us some focus on what we wanted to do. With that, about that same time, the highway plans for reconstruction were being formed, and there was a lot of interest in how the highway would be constructed. And at that time, we thought, if our name is Lady Slipper and the construction gets rid of all the lady slippers, we won't have the Lady Slipper Byway anymore. So we as a group decided that we needed to find out how many lady slippers there were. So for 3 years we did an inventory, and we utilized Forest Service equipment and a crew from Camp Rabideau that came down and GPS'd all of the lady slipper sites And they did it over three different years, so we could get a sense of how many were actually in the population. Once we found that out, we started developing plans and contacting people that had done transplant work before and kind of researched whether it was successful or not. And we determined as a group that we could indeed have a successful transplant here. So we began applying for grants, and we, over this period of time from about 2006 till the present, we have received 2 grants to do our lady slipper transplant. Earlier we received a grant from the Federal Highways Administration, and that was a Scenic Byway grant from the Federal Highways Administration. Jim Overstar, who just passed away, was kind of the father of the Scenic Byway system, so we have a great debt, really, to him for being able to do the kinds of things we're doing with the lady slippers here. Let's see. So anyway, we applied for 2 grants. The second grant was called a RAC grant, and it came through the Forest Service and the counties. We competed for it with other organizations, and we received a grant from them for $50,000 to bring our story to the Byway and to construct this boardwalk, and to also do some transplant activities. So we've pretty much completed what we said we were going to do. We have another transplant. We have another transplant planned for this summer, and then we'll be depleting those funds. We returned our first. What we do is we dig up the lady slippers, we store them, and then once the road is reconstructed, we put them back on the highway. And so we have dug up, well, not we personally, but our crews have dug up lady slippers probably on about, 14 miles of road so far. And we have them stored, and in 2012 was the first year we put them back on the newly constructed site. Last year we used the youth from Camp Rabideau, and we monitored the success of our transplant, and we were really pleasantly surprised. We found almost every colony that we had transplanted, except for I think 2. Another thing that we did in conjunction with this was the Pennington Bog Scenic Byway is just, or Pennington Bog Scientific and Natural Area is just to the south here. And we had some extra lady slippers, and we asked them if we could plant them kind of at the edges of the road, right adjacent to the Scientific and Natural Area. That area is only accessible by permit from the Department of Natural Resources, and we just think it's really important for people to be able to walk into the woods and while they're traveling, and be able to walk on the boardwalk and see orchids up close and personal. Our Byway board realizes this is a long-term project. We're not quite sure when the highway is going to be constructed. But we feel really confident that we're going to be successful in our efforts, and that they're going to survive once we transplant them. At our last Byway board meeting, we had a discussion about our mission statement. We're going to be redoing our mission statement fairly soon, and our board started talking about stewardship. And we all believe that stewardship is a big part of our mission for our Byway board, and that comes in a lot of different forms. It comes in the form of, rescuing plants and putting them back where they used to be. A partnerships are a big part of stewardship, because without partnerships with the Forest Service, the Highway Department, the county, Camp Rabideau, Minnesota Conservation Corps, and odd number of people, the Minnesota DNR, the Beltrami Electric, all those people are our partners, and we just would not have been able to do this without our partnerships. And we gained a lot from those partnerships, and we think that those that have partnered with us, especially targeting youth, is a really important focus for our mission, so that stewardship can be passed on to the next generation. So I want to thank you for coming, and let's see, who's next?
Bruce is next.
Thousands and thousands.
You want an intro? No, we're not doing that. Next we have our county engineer with the Beltrami County Highway Department, Bruce Asbargen, right? Come on up.
Well, thank you everybody for coming out today. As Mike said earlier, we're not used to a ribbon cutting. This is the first ribbon cutting I've been to for a road project. It's not quite a road project for us, but it was definitely a unique project that we were involved in. So it's nice to have you all come out here and enjoy these sites and take part in this ribbon cutting. What made this possible was a transportation enhancement grant. Beltrami County 6 years ago, in cooperation with the Lady Slipper Scenic Byway and the Chippewa National Forest, applied for a transportation enhancement grant. The enhancement grant is for projects other than a road project. Normally you're going to see those with a bike trail. That's where I've seen them in the past. But they also are for wayside rests, or these interpretive wayside sites that we've got here today. And as you can see, we were successful in getting that grant. So 6 years ago was the money. The idea was there many years before that, but 6 years ago was when we applied and got it. The grant paid for these sites, and really what these sites do is allow for the travelers to stop on their way by and enjoy the couple of the important unique features along the Scenic Byway. As you saw at the first one, we were along the Mississippi River, and there the unique cultural and historic importance of the area was described there at that site. This one here, you're enjoying the scenic value. We're close to the Pennington SNA, and we got the boardwalk here, and throughout the site there are unique flowers and just the scenic area you get to enjoy with that. Again, the grant helped pay for, really it helps get the travelers off the road. You can stop anywhere along the road and enjoy the orchids, but at these two sites that was the big thing, was to get the people off the road and so that they can enjoy the area. There are other parts, other groups that worked in this. We got in on the construction. There's all of the work that the different groups did with the design, the interpretive signs, putting all the work that went into those. The boardwalk was a separate grant that they did, but it took a lot of work from a lot of people to put these together, and we just got the enjoyment of construction with the sites. So with that, I guess I just want to thank everybody that put their time in with the design and helping out with these projects. Again, it was a very unique and fun project to be involved with. So thank you.
Okay, is Christine Brown here?
Yep.
Okay, you're up. She is with the Chippewa National Forest. And it is it Christina or Christine?
Christine.
Christine.
Can you
Okay.
put the microphone down?
I'm shorter. Okay, welcome to the Chippewa National Forest. This scenic byway crosses and the entire length of the forest, and I think it's a pretty spectacular view. The forest has always been proud of this corridor. It's a major transportation route up to the north woods of Lake of the Woods, and in fact my father called me the other day saying, tell me Scenic Highway is open because I do not want to have to go around Bemidji. He wanted to come along this corridor to head up to fish it, and he sent me a picture last night of 26-inch walleye, so they're hitting them pretty good up there.
Red Lake?
Lake of the Woods.
Oh, Lake of the Woods, okay.
The forest is home to this scenic byway, but we also have 4 other byways that are important to us. Those include the Great River Road, and there's some representatives from here today. Edge of the Wilderness Scenic Byway, the Lake Country Scenic Byway, and the Avenue of the Pines. The Lady Slipper Byway is one of our important ones, and we've done focused a lot of attention here recently with the transplants and the boardwalk, and we continue to partner with the Byway Association. Along this route, many of you know that the forest has several recreation sites. We have 2 developed campgrounds just off of this route, a historic CCC camp, several boat accesses and day use areas. So this continues to be an important area for the Forest Service, and I think by the improvements that have been done recently, we'll see more and more use and visitation to this area. The board is invaluable to us, and we appreciate all the work that they've done to bring visitors to this area. We continue to find projects that we can help with. Nancy mentioned the Resource Advisory Committee. What that program is, 25% of the forest receipts from recreation, timber, other land uses goes back to the counties, and a portion of that money is set aside for this RAC funding. And projects are brought in, like Nancy mentioned, they compete, and the forest supervisor ultimately recommends them. $50,000 was awarded a couple years ago, and I understand there's another grant this year that they're in the running for, and it looks pretty good that they're going to get some more funding. So that's a bonus to them, and no promises yet, but you guys are on the list. I saw it. What else? So we talked about the visitation along here. We look to the future for more projects, including the RAC project, and we just hope with continued partnership efforts, we're going to bring visitors in. We get asked at our front desks all the time, where can we see these lady slippers? And this is going to be a key spot on the forest to bring these visitors here. So thank you, and glad you could come.
Okay, now it's Jack Frost's turn. He's our county commissioner. Come on up.
Thank you, Mike. I will be brief. I'll be not an atypical politician. Besides, I'm not running for re-election, so. I really want to say the first time I drove up the Scenic Highway, going to Black Duck, and I was driving a 39 Ford, because I'm an old car guy, and I thought, you know what, this is the quintessential form of motoring. We weren't driving, we were motoring. And you get along this beautiful byway and see the trees and the plants and the water, and just it's picturesque. It's postcard material. It really truly is. And to top that all off, to be at the wheel of a flathead V8 39 Ford made it the perfect scenario. It became a treasure to me. Working for the county, I understood that there were some safety concerns and roads have to be realigned, and we had some issues going through some wetlands, and what a project. I remember going with our previous highway engineer to a meeting, and there were all kinds of competing interests from the U.S. Forest Service and the Army Corps of Engineers and the Chippewa National Forest, and of course the Lady Slipper Scenic Byway. I thought to myself, this will never happen. I don't think we can ever collaborate for progress and come to a consensus and find a balance to get this project done. But we did. And look what we have today. It is beautiful. I am proud to live in this area. We have such a valued resource. I was going to extol all the names of the organizations, but I think everyone else has pretty well done that, except for one. And it's near and dear to my heart because I served on it for, I believe, 5 to 6 years. and that's the Mississippi River Parkway Commission, who is also here. All the MRPC folks, please raise your hand in the shirts. Nancy Salmonen is also, she succeeded me in representing the Itasca to Grand Rapids. So she is a pilot for that section of the Mississippi River. Mississippi River, of course, is a watershed for 1/3 of our nation. And through that association and being in the tourism industry, it made me realize what a beautiful place we have to live, what beautiful resources we have. And people come here to visit them and to get away from the hustle bustle of the metropolises of the world and to see a truly pristine and beautiful part of the country, and by and large they're becoming fewer and fewer. What a treasure we have, and it needs good stewardship. It needs good cooperation and buy-in from various interests and cultures and histories of people and all of those things to bring good outcomes and results. And I believe that this is just two things, just two of the many things that people can now visit. And getting south of Power Dam Road there, that's where the juncture of the Mississippi River Parkway goes. When you see that ship's wheel sign right next to the Lady Slipper sign as well. We are really blessed to be able to live in a beautiful part of the country. Let's be good stewards of it. Let's take care of it. Let's cherish it so that our children and our grandchildren can come here and say, wow, what a beautiful place to visit and maybe even live. Thank you for coming today, and it's really been a pleasure to be a part of this event. Running from office. No.
Okay, now you get to hear from our Vice President, Shirley Gilmore, and I won't even tell you what she's going to talk about. I might steal her thunder.
Hello, and thanks for coming out today. It's been a long time coming. When we first heard about a transportation grant to do these sites in about 2007, 2012 sounded like a long way off. Well, it's here and passed, and now we have this opening. And as Nancy said, we're also celebrating initial early success in some of the transplant efforts. It's been a good project. We have fun even along the way. I first became aware, I lived west of Black Duck, but I first became aware of this road and the resources on this road and all the Lady Slippers in, am I coming through okay? Mm-hmm. In about 1989, when I was traveling and being photographer assistant to my friend Nadine Blacklock, who was working on a revised edition of the book The Hidden Forest, which was originally published with Sigurd Olsen, the nature writer, with the text, and Les Blacklock, her father-in-law, was the photographer. And as photographic reproduction improved, they decided they needed to reissue the book with new photography. So that was what Nadine was working on at the time. She spied this especially picturesque bouquet of Lady Slippers, and we spent almost 2 hours at the site. I'm helping her hold this or that. And it became the cover of the book, so I thought that was pretty exciting. Then, unfortunately, Nadine was killed in an auto accident in 1998. And that group of Lady Slippers really became special to me. And I and the adjacent landowners who kind of watched out for it. And then we started hearing things like highway reconstruction. So what I didn't realize at the time, I kind of did some research and found out about the Lady Slipper Scenic Byway Board. But what I didn't realize at the time was this interest in one special group of Lady Slippers would morph into a multi-year, multi-agency project looking out for Lady Slippers all up and down the byway. But like I said, it's been a good project, it's been fun. And I think I've been involved with every survey, with every crew that's done some transplant work. And as Nancy said, it's really fun to see young people who are so techy getting interested and excited about nature projects. So that's been a real bonus. I have some housekeeping things, a few thank yous. Most people have covered them. some housekeeping things, and then we'll have the ribbon cutting and be on our way. I first would like to say that all of our Scenic Byway board, we're here with the Lady Slipper vests on. So if you have questions for people about where Lady Slippers, and Judy has maps of where some of the biggest colonies are. Georgianne Maxon is going to, if anyone's interested, wait, Georgianne, in a plant hike, a nature identification hike, she's our plant ecologist, and see her right when we're done and decide if you want to do a short hike before lunch or something after lunch, or just figure it out. A couple of people from the highway department that we pestered a lot and deserve a thanks to were, well, Mike said Bruce. In addition to Bruce, are John Naring and Mike Jenny, the chief surveyor, who put up with us and translated our surveys into highway plans. And then my husband, who helped me translate. I'm going like, what do they mean by this? What does this mean? What does this mean? Because he was on highways in Hennepin County. Dan Edens from Beltrami Electric helped us with the restoration of this area, because it was an area that used to have thousands of lady slippers, and then various things happened and it became a muddy trail, and now we're restoring this area. And of course, in addition to the Rabideau Conservation Academy, the Minnesota Conservation Corps has helped with a lot of our transplant projects. Now the housekeeping. If you ordered a lunch, if you RSVP'd and have a lunch down at the shortstop, which is just back down the road, when you go in, let Renee know, if you did RSVP, which sandwich you ordered and which flavor shake you'd like to go with it. If you didn't RSVP, she's going to try to accommodate people. Let her know that you didn't reserve, but tell her what you would like, and if she can do it, she'll give you the same price. It's a little bit of a discount for Lady Slipper Day, so tell her you're part of the group. If you're out just doing photography, so far, the Lady Slippers cooperated. The weather, so far. Two things. Be careful, because the road gets narrower north of here. If there's a safer place to pull off on a side road or something, do that. Also, most of you who are doing photography probably know a lot what lady slippers look like, but be very aware of the vegetation, because it's so easy to step on the immature lady slippers as you're looking for the ones that are blooming. Reminder to see Georgianne about a hike. And did I forget anything? I think we're otherwise ready for... She's ready? Are we doing it here? Yeah. Okay. Okay, we'll do the ribbon cutting and head back down the road for whoever wants to have lunch. Oh, also, did I say Judy has maps for... Yeah. Okay. Thank you all again. Who's holding?
Where'd you get the big scissors from?
Oh, a really nice lady with MnDOT.
I see her.
Okay, should we do a count? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cut.
That's why you have the small one.
He's working on it.
After the ribbon cutting ceremony, it was sandwich time at the shortstop. Hamburgers, milkshakes, and whatever.
Where are we going in, Tom?
Which way am I going?
What door are you going in? This
I'm
one?
going to the food.
Okay, go ahead. I'll follow you in. You got the foot in there. Go ahead. Oh, we got these hamburger hogs here.
Hamburgers, you bet.
You have to have a conclusion for the video. You have to chop them with.
And if that was not enough food, well, there was plenty more across the street. There was somebody selling fresh cookies, maple syrup, pie, and rolls.
I don't know what that means, but that's what they say.
The president of Lady Slippers.